crowded hall. You see there's a beauty standing. Is she really everywhere? Well, a reflection. One always calls out to you. The other shy and quiet. Could there be two different girls who look the same at Sweet Valley, Sweet Valley High, Sweet Valley, Sweet Valley, Sweet Valley High, Sweet Valley, Sweet Valley, Sweet
Hello, Dr. Enzyme. I have decided to go on to graduate school in mathematics and get my PhD. I would like for you to give me a recommendation.
Hello Tom, I remember you from my differential equations class. You are a second semester junior now, correct?
Yes, that is right.
What made you decide to want to go to graduate school for mathematics?
I don't know. I think after taking calculus, differential equations and abstract algebra, I guess you can say that I fell in love with the subject. I aced all of my mathematics courses so far. I like solving those volume of revolution problems in integral calculus. I like doing those double and triple integrals, integrating by parts and solving those neat problems in differential equations.
So where are you planning to go to graduate school?
I want to go to the best graduate school I can get into. So as a first choice, I am looking at getting into Yale, UPenn or Harvard.
You have to excuse me, Tom. But are you out of your damn mind?
No, sir, my grades don't lie. I have aced all of my mathematics courses up to this point.
Yes, but you are a second semester junior and have not did either topology nor real analysis, which are both heavy laden in rigorous proof writing. Then you talk about how you like to work piddly problems in calculus and differential equations. Those piddly problems you have had in differential equations are child's play compared to graduate level work in mathematics. Furthermore, you say are interested in going to an Ivy League graduate school. People who get into those graduate schools can solve just about every problem from your piddly calculus and differential equations book standing on their heads. People who go to graduate school in mathematics at Yale, Harvard or UPenn are about at the level you are at now in mathematics, just getting out of high school.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I can settle on a lower-rated graduate school like the University of Texas, Penn State or Ohio State.
Those are still some fine schools. Those are the schools students go to who are not accepted into graduate school at Harvard, Yale or UPenn. Which means that the students who go to these schools are very hungry. These larger graduate schools may be lower rated than the Ivy League schools, but they will still eat you alive academically. But enough of that. What do you think you may want to specialize in?
I was thinking about specializing in something like double or triple integrals or maybe differential equations.
You fool. Are you out of your damn mind?
No, why?
No one specializes in double or triple integrals, and differential equations on a graduate level is nothing like working those simple-minded problems you have had last semester. You will have to know about existence and uniqueness, measure theory, calculus of variations, residues and modern analysis.
Yes, but I want to follow in your footsteps and be just like you and become a professor.
I think you have a few screws loose. You need to see a psychiatrist.
Excuse me. I come here to ask you for a recommendation for graduate school, and this is what I get.
What you have to understand is that I am doing you a big favor by being harsh with you at this point. From my experiences, no one goes on to get a PhD in mathematics just because they are good at elementary differential equations, calculus and abstract algebra. You have had a sampling perhaps of what real mathematics is all about from your abstract algebra course, but you need to go a little deeper than that. You also need to get a better overview of mathematics in general. Build a much better foundation from the ground up. You should understand mathematics from a very broad perspective by reading about some of the classical unsolved problems in books written for non-mathematicians. Once you have done that, you are ready to perhaps find an area of concentration or specialty you like. You may discover that you like number theory, for example, or manifolds. Then you may be ready to build up a good toolbox which will better equip you to tackle the problems in your area of interest. There are three main areas of maths in which you must be able to solve and prove a great deal of the harder types of problems before even thinking about getting a PhD in maths. They are the following: abstract algebra, real analysis, and topology. If you do not know how to write up rigorous proofs and solve the harder types of problems in these courses before graduate school, you will probably wind up dropping out of the program.
But what do you advise me to do?
I advise you to forget about going to graduate school for mathematics and focus on your studies. If, however, your heart is set on pursuing mathematics, take your time and do as I suggested. Read and study mathematics to obtain a very broad perspective of the field. After you obtain a broad perspective, then maybe you can focus on an area of mathematics in which you are interested. But regardless of what you do, you must be able to write and read proofs. Perhaps you should study some set theory before taking real analysis or topology. Get a book on how to read and write mathematical proofs. At any rate, do not try to go directly to graduate school after you finish. You should be a complete math geek before you go to graduate school. You should be at a point where math is about the only thing you do. You should enjoy writing proofs and working hard problems for about 6 hours a day. Give yourself about 2 years after undergrad to pursue maths as a hobby as if it is your full-time job. Get yourself some simple-minded job like a night watchman so you can devote most of your mental energy to mathematics. After that, then maybe you will be ready for graduate work in mathematics. But at this point, you are not ready. I know you are young and ambitious, but I have seen so many like you come and go. You think you are so smart in math just because you do well in differential equations and calculus. Elementary differential equations and calculus are mere child's play compared to real mathematics. Since you have had abstract algebra, go back and work some of the more difficult problems and proofs in that course. Move into the later chapters. Take things one step at a time. You are still young. Slow down and critically examine things. This advice works well for maths as well as life in general. You have to excuse me, I am scheduled to be in a dissertation committee meeting.
I'm going to write a novel.
For the love of all that is holy, why?
Because I'm going to be a writer.
I've never seen you show even the slightest interest in books.
It's going to be a bestseller.
Now that I think about it, I've never even seen you read a book.
That's because all fiction novels suck.
What was the last book you read?
I saw all of the Harry Potter movies.
That's not what I meant. So what's your book about?
It's science fiction crossed with chick lit crossed with literary fiction.
Do you even know what any of those things mean?
I quit my job this morning.
Oh no. Please tell me you didn't.
I just bought a new laptop. A MacBook Air.
Have you ever attempted to write a novel-length manuscript?
I've already written the first page. It's really awesome. I plan to finish by the end of the week. Do you think I can get it published in time for the Christmas shopping season? I'm going to need the money soon.
It's December 4th. Probably not.
I suppose that's okay. I'll just max out my credit cards.
You do realize it takes years of honing your craft before you'll be ready to produce a publishable book. And that's assuming you've spent the last 20 years reading hundreds of novels.
I've been living my life. Not wasting my time reading. What do you think I am, some kind of dork?
Wow. So how do you plan to get your book published?
I'm going to take a copy to Random House.
I think my heart just stopped.
They've never seen anything like this. I know they'll want to talk to me right away.
That's not really how it works. To get a deal with one of the major publishers, you really need a literary agent.
Well, that will be easy enough. I'll just call a few and let them fight over me.
I wish I could kill you and get away with it. The average literary agent gets about 10,000 queries a year. In a good year, they might take on 2 new clients.
In fact, I think I will call them today.
Yeah. They don't take queries by phone. And your book is not even finished.
But my idea is a guaranteed bestseller. I better warn them not to steal my idea because it's copyrighted. Most agents are just losers who couldn't get book deals.
If you take the astonishingly stupid step of calling an agent, I wouldn't lead with that.
You're right. I'm really busy today anyway. I'll just send a mass email to a bunch of agents.
Get ready to be disappointed.
I'm thinking I'll only hire an agent who can promise me a 6-figure deal.
You may actually inspire all the agents in New York to come hunt you down with pitchforks and burn you at the stake.
Where do you think they will start my book tour?
I'm not sure I'm making myself clear. Let me try another approach. I assume you've used a steak knife, right?
Of course.
Do you think you're qualified to perform neurosurgery?
Haha. That's funny. I might base a character on you.
So do you think that being able to read and write your native language makes you qualified to write a novel?
How many editors will Random House assign to my novel?
-13.
Because it's going to need a lot of editing. I'm not the best speller.
My throat is starting to close up. The publishing industry really sort of expects you to have the whole spelling and grammar thing down.
But I'm the talent. That's what editors are for.
That's why you should expect to spend a few months on revisions before you ever let it see the light of day. It might be wise to crack open a book about the craft of writing. Stephen King wrote a good one called On Writing.
That sounds so boring. And totally unnecessary.
Fine. Are you ready to spend hundreds of hours banging away at your laptop?
Do you think they will let me direct the movie version of my book?
Are you ready to discover gigantic plot holes that are impossible to fill?
I'm a storyteller. It will all work out.
Are you ready to discover your characters are as one-dimensional as the ones in a pornographic movie?
I'm a student of the human condition. My characters will have depth and substance.
Are you aware that publishers are putting out fewer novels than ever?
Great. Less competition for me.
Are you ready to find yourself on page 50 and then think of an even better idea for a novel?
Hey, that's a good idea. I'm going to write several books at a time. I can maximize my earnings that way. Do you want to be a ghostwriter for me? I will cut you in for 10%.
I have a gun in my car. I'm going to go get it now.
I want to work in the video game industry. Video games are my passion and nothing could be better than making them for a living.
I should warn you that the video game industry is a very competitive business.
The video game industry will let me express my creativity.
The video game industry is a business. Its main focus is to sell products to as many people as possible.
I want to bring my creativity and innovation to video games.
The video game industry does not exist to be creative. It exists to sell products at Walmart. Most shoppers at Walmart do not want innovation. They want a game that lets them shoot robot Nazi zombie Pokemons and jump on platforms.
The video game industry is a fun place to work. I read it in Wired. I've heard that you can keep action figures on your desk.
Have you heard about the constant stress and the 80-hour work weeks?
I've heard that you get free soda and snacks.
That's because it's what you eat for dinner. Your employers don't want you to go home.
I don't care. The game industry is a cool place to work.
You will make a low starting salary. If the game you work on doesn't sell, you will probably get laid off.
I don't care. I'm young.
Game development is not all fun and games. The work can be very difficult and tedious.
I know I have what it takes.
Do you have experience in computer modeling and animation?
No.
Do you know how to program computers?
No.
Then what can you do?
I have an idea for a game.
You cannot just tell people you have a game idea and expect to get a job in the industry as a game designer.
But my idea is great.
What is your idea?
I can't tell you. You might steal it.
You cannot just expect someone to hire you because you say you have a good idea. Besides, everyone has game ideas. Nobody cares about yours.
My idea is unique.
Well, tell me a little about your idea.
Okay, it's set in the year 2324. Humans have discovered an alien artifact on the planet Xylon. When scientists activate the artifact, it releases a strange field that begins to turn everyone in the colony into monsters. Only a top secret, genetically enhanced.
Okay, stop. First of all, that is not a game idea. It is only a story. Second of all, that is the most unoriginal story ever.
But I haven't told you about the zombies. Or how the player is actually a ninja who was cryogenically frozen by aliens in the 12th century. Or how you need to hack into computer systems too.
Now you are just taking an unoriginal idea and mixing it with other unoriginal ideas. That is not original. And it is still only a story.
It will be a first-person shooter, except you have a gun that changes gravity.
How do you know that that will be fun?
The artificial intelligence will be better than any game on the market. It will use neural networks.
Do you actually know what that means? Or are you just using a buzzword you heard?
You will be able to make time run backwards. And it will be an MMORPG.
That is not even feasible.
I'll start at the bottom. I'm willing to learn.
What were you good at in school?
I don't know. I got D's in all my classes. I spent all my time playing video games.
So you are good at games?
Yes. I once played StarCraft for 32 hours straight. My kidneys almost shut down.
Perhaps you could be a tester.
That would be so awesome. I could play games all day, and then give the designers ideas on how to make them better.
You would not be playing games. You would be playing only one game.
I don't mind.
And you wouldn't be giving the designers ideas. You'd only be looking for programming bugs.
I don't mind.
You will play the same level over and over, day after day, until you hate the sight of it.
I don't mind. I want to be a part of the team.
The programmers will despise you for finding their bugs. Each time they fix a bug, they will make new bugs, and you will have to keep playing the game around the clock to find them. Your eyeballs will bleed and you will hate the game with all your heart.
Nothing can take away my love of video games.
You will not even be testing a good game. You will be testing Barbie's Undersea Adventure. You will be paid less than a McDonald's employee. You will work in a cubicle. No one will talk to you.
I know I will be a great game designer. I will pay my dues, then climb the ladder.
It might not be as easy as you think it is.
I'll work at a great company, like Rockstar. I'll learn from the best, then fulfill my dream of becoming a video game designer.
Do you have any idea how many people it took to make Grand Theft Auto 4? You will be one of 1,000 developers at a company that everyone wants to work at. If you are an artist, you will toil away painting hubcap textures. If you are a programmer, your job will be to write the code that models the lint on the game characters' shirts.
Then I will join a small startup,
where you have minimal funding and will have to work your asses off even harder than at a big company. Because no publisher will take a chance on an original property from an unproven studio, you will be forced to make SpongeBob SquarePants titles. Most small companies don't last long.
I want to work in the video game industry.
What do you like to do outside of work?
I like playing video games.
So, you plan to spend 12 hours a day staring at a video game, then come home and play more video games.
Yes.
Do you plan on having friends?
I will be friends with my co-workers. We are all gamers.
Do you plan on having a girlfriend?
Yes, of course. I will meet a girl gamer.
Even though most of the people you hang out with are other single, male gamers? That sounds like a great plan.
Video games are my passion.
Will this be true when you're 35? Will you still care as much about dark elves and space marines? What if you have a family and want to spend more time with them?
I'm sure my boss will understand.
Your boss will want the game shipped before Christmas. Everyone else on your team will be working until midnight.
I will be a valuable game designer.
Your boss will receive 15 applications a day from people who think the game industry is an incredibly fun place to work, like you do now.
I don't care. People will respect my creativity.
Even if you do become a veteran game developer, nobody will care about your creativity unless you are one of the 10 best designers in the industry. Publishers will want to make games based on licenses and franchises, because those are what sells. even when they are completely stale. Why do you think there are still Super Mario Bros. Games, even though the first one came out before you were born?
But I want to work in the video game industry.
Very well, then. Here is your controller. You will find your cubicle in the basement. The Mountain Dew dispenser is on the right. The Frito bin is down the hall.